Curry announced earlier today that the Jaguars game will be played in Jacksonville on Sunday against the Titans with kickoff at 1 o'clock at Everbank Field. Jaguars owner Shad Khan will donate $1 million to Florida's First Coast Relief Fund, and the Jaguars will distribute 5,000 tickets to first responders to the game against the Titans. The Jaguars made roster moves today, placing wide receiver Allen Robinson on IR due to his torn ACL and signing wide receiver Max McCaffrey, a first-year guy from the Saints practice squad. In high school football, 3 games in the area have been affected by Hurricane Irma. Oakleaf traveling to Bartram Trail will move to October 6th. Sandalwood playing host to Spruce Creek has been postponed without a date, and UC traveling to Coffee has been canceled. Stay tuned for Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. Hello, ladies!
Hello.
It's a Victory Tuesday.
It is Victory Tuesday, and not just Victory Tuesday, but the first time the Jaguars have had the above 500 record since 2011. Donna, was JT even alive then?
No.
Okay,
He was not.
we are talking about an entire lifetime.
Can
for
I
JT.
tell you how ironic that is? You said 2011. I was
Yes, ma'am.
reminiscing for some reason with my photo box, and I was going through it with JT to show him everything, and I found this, which I just tweeted out, a picture of me and Calais at the Super Bowl in 2011.
Foreshadowing.
Is that not fantastic?
That is fantastic, and you know, he has not lost a pound since.
I know he looks exactly the same.
He
He's
really
adorable.
does.
He has such a great smile. So I was like, oh, I'm bringing that tonight. That's
a
fantastic.
fabulous picture.
Yeah.
And certainly, Blythe, of everyone on the kickoff show, you're the only one to pick
That's
the Jaguars.
right.
Did that add to your excitement, or were you at that point like, I don't even care, just give me a Jaguars win?
I mean, it definitely. I said before the season started that I thought that this season would either be surprisingly fun or a gong show, and the entire off season was a complete gong show. So it sort of led you into the season thinking that it was just going to be another wasted year. It was going to be another joke of a season. We're going to be the laughing stock of the NFL, and the only people that were laughing at the end of the day were the Jaguars players and the Jaguars organization, because they shut down the Texans. 10 sacks, 4 turnovers. You just can't ask for a better performance than what we saw on Sunday.
And certainly it was a performance that, with all of the quarterback controversy going on in the preseason, it was completely unexpected for Blake Bortles to go into Houston, where he had never won. He was 0-3 there. And to not just go in there, but also have 0 turnovers. He kind of almost threw an interception in the end zone, but he did not. And therefore, he walked out of that game with no turnovers. At no point in time did you question the Jaguars' offense. I think that was, to me, one of the biggest takeaways. We were so unsure what this offensive line would do after the head coach didn't know who was really starting, and kind of made a late announcement as far as the left guard with Patrick Omame. We questioned right guard with A.J. Cann, and yeah, we had faith in Brandon Linder, the center, but other than that, we just weren't 100% sure with the rookie left tackle, K. Robinson. The offensive line went up against the #1 defense in the NFL last year in the Texans, and they made them look like they were playing
Foolish. They looked foolish. They ran out with J.J. Watt waving the Texan pride flag, and the whole crowd was there. And it was just something to shut down, to survive that emotional intensity to start the game, and to shut them down in every aspect of the game was, I don't want to say nothing short of a miracle, because it was definitely something that we would hope to see from this team, but we hadn't seen any shadow of it throughout the entire offseason, throughout any preseason. So you're just sitting there waiting for the inevitable to happen. And when Deshaun Watson came in, that's when I was like, okay, well, this is where they're going. That's what happened last year when we faced the Texans. That Tom Savage came in the middle of the game, and he led the Texans to a victory. When Deshaun Watson came into the game, I said, this is where we lose it. This is where we're going to lose the game. And at least we had that one half.
Well, and I did think when Deshaun Watson came in that, okay, he is a bit more challenging for the Jaguars defense to face, because Savage is such a statue. However, he has never played an NFL game before. So, Donna, I was never freaking out nervous, like you explained how, it has been in the past. When the Jaguars
Backup
were up in
quarterbacks.
Indianapolis last season, the last game of the season, when Doug Marrone was his second game as interim head coach, And the Jaguars were up at halftime by a wide margin and then still lost. But I never had that feeling when Deshaun Watson came in the game.
Once it was I want to say the end of the third, probably going into the fourth, and I was in the same spot that I was in. I've moved a couple times. I said, if I'm starting to be superstitious, cannot spit it out, about the Jags, then this has become the team this year, because I haven't been superstitious at all about it. I always am for the Pats, for the Red Sox. When it's Bruin season, I definitely am. Not really for the Celtics. I don't know why. But I said, okay, from now on, I am sitting on the floor. I know what I'm wearing. We have to have microwave popcorn for the game. And apparently a hurricane needs to come around that time.
We can do without that.
I'm like, everything, I now know what the plan is. But I will say this. Is everybody done talking about Bill O'Brien with his quarterbacks? Everybody done? We're all done with that topic that he is Mr. Right?
I think he's got one foot on the way out. He's got to.
Well, I remember last year on one of the kickoff shows, we talked to a female who is
Jamie Lamb with the blonde side,
diehard Texans fan, and she basically said he's like a fat old
D-bag,
and she didn't like him at all. And that was kind of the first time that I'd heard that sentiment. But I mean, at this point, Donna, certainly you can question his ability to get the quarterback to do what he wants. Now,
look, I didn't like him when he was with New England.
Sure.
Just because he was the only quarterback's coach, only offensive-minded guy that I've ever seen, ever in these 16 years of watching Brady scream at Brady on the sidelines.
Well, I thought that was one of the things Belichick does, but maybe not during the game.
Look, he yells at everybody, so that's nothing new. But no, this is during a game, and he is screaming in his face, and Brady's yelling back. I'm like, who does this guy think he is? You're like, what can Brady do with nobody else out there? This was years ago, obviously, but ever since then, I've not liked him one bit.
At this point, I'm not ready to say Deshaun Watson's not good. I think he did a decent job leading them down and scoring on that touchdown drive, but he did get a lot of help from the officials. Certainly we'll see. Bill O'Brien today would not announce who the starting quarterback is, but then Ian Rappaport tweeted that it will be Deshaun Watson, and you kind of got that feeling. You read that he was taking first.
You're going to about lose the fan base.
Right. So, well, the jury's out on him, but regardless of the Texans, were you more impressed with the Jaguars' offensive line for allowing 0 sacks? And certainly Blake helped evade a few sacks. Were you more impressed with the Jaguars winning by 22 points? Or were you more impressed with the Jaguars' defense and the effort they did with the 10 sacks?
I would say I was more impressed with the score, because with this Jaguars team, we've sort of known that the defense was going to perform well, if not to start the season, but somewhere around the middle of the season, halfway through, that they would start to really gel together. I didn't expect for it to be this quick. So the defense really impressed me. And then Marone, his coaching job really impressed me as well. And I think it was Andrew Gibson that said that Marone, as a head coach for the Jaguars during 3 games, has only been losing for 9 seconds. During the entire time. So it's over 3 games, only losing for 9 seconds for a franchise that has been losing for a very long time is pretty impressive.
Well, and certainly we have harped on the Jaguars' offensive line and said that, Leonard Fournette's going to be a great addition, but they have to be able to block for him. So for me, it was by far the performance of them. I never in a million years dreamed that the Jaguars could get out of Energy Stadium not allowing a single sack. And assuming that there were no pieces different, right? Like, this was the same offensive line that played the majority of the 3rd preseason game, and then all of a sudden they were able to block Jadeveon Clowney, Whitney Merciless, and J.J. Watt, and not just block them, but actually dominate them. That, to me, was incredibly
and in that environment, that environment where the emotions are reading so high, and then you have the crowd, the Houston crowd, that's booing their team by halftime, considering everything that they've gone through, and then they're booing their team.
I mean, I think they were more booing Savage and O'Brien. That's what I take.
I don't think it was personal.
No, I think it was more directed towards that. Like, whenever the boos come for Jacksonville, it's always towards Bortles, is it not? The majority
sometimes.
Of times.
I'm sure a lot of it was Bradley.
I don't know that it's ever directed towards one person, but more of just a culmination of the BS that you've dealt with for years. Right. Not necessarily towards one person, one jersey.
Because once Watson came out, then you heard the cheers and they got excited, and you feel bad because it was so role reversal. You're like, hold on a second. I feel like I'm watching this team, but not that team. This is not this is not at all what we're used to. And I love being wrong. I love being wrong about this. And I know that we basically were like, yeah, Texans, of course, we don't have a shot when we made our pick.
Speaking of beforehand, before the game started, I got over to my brother's house because he was having a watch party, and we said, well, why don't we play a little fun game?
That was so funny.
A viewing party. It could kind of be that too, I guess, in a sense. But before the game started, we were like, well, let's take a shot before or when the Jaguars score throughout the game. And the damn team ended up scoring 29 points. And it's like, I can't do this. But we were so happy. We just you had to keep doing it.
So do you remember the fourth quarter?
I remember all of it. Gloriously remember all of it.
So you do know that that's what you have to do every time now.
I don't. I guess
9:30
I'm going to be passed out by halftime at every game. Hopefully, that'll be a good passed out.
10 a.m. You are going to be annihilated, hopefully, in 2 weeks.
Well, it's my dad ended up getting emotional during the game too after they scored a bunch and it looked like we were about to win. Like he got a little teary eyed. Sorry, I'm calling you out, Dad. But he started crying a little bit and he's like, we just don't get games like this anymore. And I said, this is what. Like going to the games, dealing with all the BS from other fan bases, other reporters and things like that's what you sort of live for as a fan is to be able to enjoy moments like that with your football family, and then hopefully it's a positive distraction from Irma.
And my husband's kind of taken on the Jags as kind of his new team. I mean, he grew up watching Marino, so he was a Dolphin fan, but now there's like nobody there to like, so he's like,
Cutler.
And us being here, he's enjoyed watching. And he loved that game. He goes, was this team fun to watch? He goes, Leonard Fournette is so much fun to watch. I'm like, I know. He is AP rebooted, a young little one, but barrels through everybody.
That's a little.
I loved it.
It was awesome.
Loved it.
Well, and I found myself in the fourth quarter of the game going, take him out! Brian's like, they can't take out their best player. And I'm like, take him out right now. I wanted this in the first preseason game. I did not care about the stats. Make sure that you have that running back healthy against the Titans. When the Titans come to Jacksonville, we obviously found out today that game will definitely be in Jacksonville. I don't think anybody really questioned it.
Right.
But you certainly wanted to get the absolute that it will be in Jacksonville. You want Leonard Fournette to run all over the Tennessee Titans. I saw a woman this morning right outside my window wearing a Titans shirt. I wanted to rip the window open and scream something, but it looked like they were honestly evacuated from somewhere. They didn't really
go back to where you came from.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too mean because of obviously real life surrounding all of this, but I wanted to scream so badly, like, your team's about to get ripped to shreds. And then I thought people might think that I'm like yelling, crazy stuff out the window, and the cops might come. Who knows? But oh, by the way, to the one person who shot off fireworks last night, like as soon as we got home and got power, it was awful. My dog starts barking. You do not shoot fireworks off right after we've had a natural disaster and everybody's on edge. Like, no, you can do it 4th of July. You cannot do it after a hurricane when there's stories, right, Blythe, we talked about Sunday morning of looting and things like that.
Right.
No, you do not shoot up fireworks.
Every time I heard fireworks, I was looking for my gun. I was waiting.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's my one rant for tonight. Everything else will be exciting. We are going to continue to talk Jaguars football. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes, right here on 1010XL. By the way, do we even know if there is a stadium home at the stadium right now?
I know it's being built.
Yeah, I saw that that's where we are in 2 weeks, and I was like, are we really able to be there? I guess I'll shoot. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I'll shoot.
Sisters of the Sea got pushed back to the 23rd, so I'm going to ask them about coming on next week, because we're not remote next week, right?
Next week.
I wanted them to come on for tonight's show, but I knew.
Next week, but we're not. From 7:15 to 7:30, but we are not anywhere but here.
Okay.
And
welcome in, Facebook.
26th.
Hope you guys all survived the storm okay.
And we're somewhere October 3rd.
I hear Mayport finally has power, which means I can go home and wash my hair.
We have a shower here, by the way.
Wait, we do?
Yeah, in that back corner bathroom, there's a shower.
I don't think anybody's cleaned it.
I don't think anyone's ever used it.
I don't think anybody's ever cleaned it.
I thought about going to the gym to shower, but Bailey's didn't open until today, too, so I was like, well.
Yeah, I would never want you to use it.
It crossed my mind, and I was like, no, there's no shower in that women's bathroom.
I would have said, you can always get in touch with me, but I got no cell service.
I thought I would be okay, like, going to my parents' house, and then I went there, and they still didn't have power either, so it's just, It feels like a blur the last few days.
You were so right. I laughed so hard at your tweet with the snacks.
Oh,
Hurricane's not even here yet. And I ate all the damn snacks.
Now I'm sick of the snacks. I waited in line at McDonald's for 45 minutes this morning to get something hot.
Oh, I didn't. I drove, and I'm like, oh, they're not even open inside. Never mind. I drove out. I was like, nope.
I tried to go to the McDonald's in the hood because it would be the least populated one, because all the ones at the beaches were packed. Taco Bell had a line, like it's off to the side on Atlantic Boulevard, and their line wraps around. Well, the entrance to it is over here on Atlantic Boulevard, so the line wrapped around and then onto Atlantic Boulevard, 10 cars deep. It had to, the line I waited in at McDonald's was about 45 minutes. I would imagine that the Taco Bell line was probably an hour and a half.
It's ridiculous. Nope. I'm
Ridiculous.
Gas stations sometimes have like breakfast sandwich, hot breakfast sandwiches.
See, I had with Mayport being down, a part of Mayport got their power back this morning. I read on Twitter that the rest of Mayport has their power back, but we'll see when I get
Did you
back
go into
home.
a Publix today?
No.
Did you go into a Publix?
I went to this one when I saw.
Was that fully open?
That one was fully open, and they had
Hope you guys
tons
all
of,
survived the storm okay. We're going to be live
Cheers
here
to
until
the
9 p.m. talking
Ours is
Jaguars,
obviously
Titans
all the
hate
lights
week. I
off,
see you,
but
Kimmy.
with just, some floodlights.
What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk a little bit about Hurricane
Casual
Irma.
credit.
The
They
Jax has
haven't
won.
started.
Sergio dipped. Do you have that sounder? Yes. Okay, good. Because I was going to intro the story
was like,
and then do the sounder and then talk about it.
Brian said Publix was really open.
If you watched Monday Night Football, you probably saw a little Sergio dip last night. Poor little thing, bless his heart. He couldn't perform on the sideline. Well, he could perform, but it wasn't very good. We'll have that for you guys later too.
Oreos. Yum.
What else do we have?
Your injury update here?
Hurricane Irma.
Oh, yeah. Tyler,
The
I'll
Jax
get
is
into
one
the
campaign. That's
last
another
part
thing
of
that y'all
this.
really need to know
I'll
about.
do
That
a
sounds
very,
really
very
awesome.
In the last part of this segment.
Okay.
Thank you, Donna. Just gonna give it up.
We're back here in a minute.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Please be careful, okay? Don't mess with that. No, don't, nope. Do I really have to? No. No.
We have JT, Donna's son, in the studio with us.
What are we
No.
talking about when we get back here?
Jags. So you can come back with any Jags cut that you want.
Alright.
If you have the Marone on his wildest dreams, that's
I do.
beautiful.
I do have that.
That was one of my favorite quotes so far. Although Frank said, like, he said it, like, going for the laugh, and it wasn't, the people didn't really laugh as, much as he thought they would.
At the very end, I purposely left it in. You could hear Ryan cackle in the background. He's like, huh, huh.
I thought it was really funny. I would have been cracking up if I was
He's
there.
the only one who laughed at it.
Saturday at 8. Go Cards. I'm going to shut Clemson down.
Wait.
And then I want to beat the Titans on Sunday.
Did you see John Wolford? 2-0?
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Yeah, and he wasn't the starting quarterback at the beginning of camp.
Tell
Somebody
JT.
else was.
Tell JT PK is
All right, here we
watching.
go.
Oh, hi, PK. Say hi, PK. Hi, PK.
Oh, did you hear him?
Jaguars football, 5 women, 4 women, and men. Helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
I don't know if I dream in my wildest dreams. Most of the time I'm thinking about, my wife in my wildest dreams.
That is fantastic.
That is one happy.
That's fantastic.
And relieved. Enjoy it. Gosh, we have really bashed them throughout this entire offseason.
Helen is great.
Yeah, absolutely. His wife, Helen, is
Yes.
fantastic. Hopefully we'll have her on the show at some
Yes.
point. But yes, we all thought going into that game that there was no
chance.
no chance. I mean, I know we did the kickoff show
I
Sunday
said no
morning,
chance.
and the way Tony was talking, I really, honestly wanted to change from picking the Texans to the Jaguars. The way that he was really breaking it all down, and hearing somebody else kind of say what I had been thinking, that really the only part that will struggle is the offensive line, but I do think they'll struggle mightily along with the quarterback, so that's why I just couldn't pick the Jaguars. But no one in their wildest dreams, if you do dream of football, thought that would happen. And certainly it begs the question at this point, is this the Jaguars team that we now need to realign our expectations for? Or should we remain cautious?
I mean, I think you need to remain a little bit cautious, but what it does do, it restores hope. And I think that that's the biggest thing for football fans, especially coming into this season. This was the first season in a long time that a lot of fans gave up before the season ever started. And now that we have a dominating performance and we're going into to facing another division opponent who we slaughtered last year at the very end of the year, even with Marcus Mariota, we were dominating that game and likely would have won that game even with Mariota going down. So if we can win this week, then we have a commanding lead in the division, and playoff hopes are alive. That's a weird thing to say.
It is weird to say.
I hope so.
See, it's hope. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I hope so. Because like we were talking about last segment, were you scared, were you nervous or whatnot in the second half? And when I spoke to my parents at halftime, I said, I am sure that the majority of Jaguar fans out there are saying, all right, well, how are we going to screw this up now? And that's how I felt. Like, you want to be optimistic, but you're very cautious about it. So we know they're capable of this. And if we don't see it, then it's going to be excruciating to watch because you know what they can do. And we had in our minds that this defense was going to be stellar. And I thought Leonard Fournette was going to be phenomenal. The quarterback and the offensive line, we were always up in the air with. And who would have thought that it would have turned out good? Yeah, you've got to keep Bortles to under 200 yards. That's fine.
Keep him a game manager.
Don't let him touch the ball. I'm fine with that. You want to do a fake to Fournette? Go right ahead. But it was so much fun to watch. I really hope this is what they're going to be, because this will make Sunday so much easier and Tuesday night so much more fun.
And certainly you can't base an entire season off of one game. We'll talk about the Patriots' loss in a little bit. But what you can do is you can evaluate the talent now that they have played an actual game. We were just evaluating the preseason, and we all know not to take too much away. So now we can at least say, okay, this was the Jaguars going up in a full game, a regular season game against the Texans, who have a lot of talent on defense. And the Jaguars went in there and said, people know the names of you guys, but by the end of today, they are going to know how to spell Yannick Ngakoue and
I don't know how to spell it. Yannick Ngakoue.
Well,
I'll have to Google that one for sure, but his significance nonetheless.
They're certainly going to know that when you go up against the Jaguars, and we haven't even gotten to the secondary yet, when you go up against them, you are going up against a team that has swagger, at least a unit that has swagger. I remember going into a game before thinking that the other team was going to be intimidated by the Jaguars. Yes, we could say last year maybe some receivers were intimidated by Jalen Ramsey, whether or not they wanted to admit it. And of course, as an NFL player, you're not going to. But I don't remember anybody in a long time, a team, going into Everbank Field and being intimidated by one side of the ball. It's been a long time. And so for me, the excitement, I'm not going to pump the brakes right now, and I'm not going to say we need to be cautious. Because we have Leonard Fournette. For as long as we have Leonard Fournette,
yes,
and that Jaguars
keep him healthy,
then anything is possible, and I really do mean anything. So I am
because if you
just
look
plain excited.
at the next, if we play the Titans, then we play the Ravens in London. That's a winnable game. I think we're undefeated in London. Maybe lost once.
Oh no, we lost the first at least 2 years because I remember we got creamed by the 49ers and the Cowboys.
So the last 2 years we've won in London. Then we got the Jets. Then the Steelers. Rams defense is pretty good. Then Colts. We can sweep the Colts. We can beat the Texans again. And if we can beat the Titans this week, then we might be able to sweep them too. And we have a commanding lead in the division.
Right, and we all were picking under 500 for sure. Maybe even close to last year as far as wins goes. Now, would you say 8-8 will be a disappointment based off of this first game?
I think we can realistically shoot for 8-8 right now. And that's a major improvement for me.
But would you be mad almost if the team goes 8-8 or still no?
No. If we can go 8-8, make the playoffs, I don't care how we do it. I don't care if it's ugly. I just want to get to the playoffs.
I'm cautious, man. yes, that's what I would hope that I would be angry with 8-8.
Sure.
I am superstitious. I do not want to
I don't care if we get 6 wins. If 6 wins can get us into the postseason or the playoffs, then sign me up.
I got to see the next 2 weeks. Okay. If this is what shows up, if this team shows up the next 2 weeks, then I will sign up for double-digit wins.
And I don't think we can expect Blake Bortles to be perfect.
No.
And certainly, he wasn't perfect, I shouldn't say. It's not like he completed 100% of his passes. But certainly, some of those balls were dropped. But I do think we can expect him to play freely like he did. I do buy into the theory that sitting him, benching him for Chad Henne in the 3rd preseason game sent kind of a message to his mental fortitude. And he was able to say, you know what? This is mine to go out there and take, not mine to go out there and lose. I could potentially, yes, not be with this team regardless. Let's put that in the past. I'm just going to go out there and play football. That's what I want to do. That's what I came here to do. I do think that it kind of shifted his mental focus, and he was able to just relax and have fun.
I mean, you hope so. You hope so, but you won't really know with this kid until he throws a pick and how he responds afterwards. And if he has a multi-pick game, because that's what history has shown us in the past, that he doesn't just throw one, he throws multiple ones because he has a tendency to sort of mentally break down. So I'll judge him based off of how he reacts in the future. I think he did well with being a game manager of sorts, but Leonard Fournette is the key to this offense, and we cannot lose him. A-Rob going down it sucks a little bit for I think he's out for the season, correct? Yeah. With the ACL injury. But him going down, it doesn't really upset me as much, but if Fournette goes down, then that is that's a huge problem.
Well, and it never really seemed like Bortles and A-Rob were ever on the same page anyways. So I agree with you, that didn't bother me. As great as I think A-Rob is,
right.
It just didn't seem like those two matched very well. More so on the Bortles side of, I think, just not throwing it to him. But what did impress me until my power kept going in and out and I couldn't, the satellite would go in and out, was I could sit there and count, and it wasn't very many, how many missed tackles for that defense.
I know Telvin had one, but I mean, to be honest, I can't vividly remember any other.
I got up to 3. And then it kept going, the satellite would go in and out. So I couldn't see it to pay attention, but I'm like, I can't believe that this is what I am noticing. And that, to me, stood out hugely for the defense.
All right, who are you giving your game ball to? It can be a coach. It can be Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Tom Coughlin. It can obviously be a player. Who are you giving it to? Donna DeMurph?
I want to give it to the whole offensive line for
right,
stunning me and actually not allowing a sack.
Absolutely.
I'm going to hand it to. No lineman ever gets any love. So offensive lineman, you're getting a lot of love from me.
Woo! All right, so she's giving it to 5 people. I'll take it. What about you?
In that regard, with the offensive line, I'm going to give it to Doug Marrone. He was the offensive line coach for several years here before he took over the head coaching duties. And Andrew Gibson said this week, I believe, that Doug Marrone has only been losing for 9 seconds in his Jaguars head coaching career. So I think that it says a lot for a guy to step into a situation like he stepped into. He's going to have his coaching career this year rely on the shoulders of Blake Bortles, and that's not the most ideal situation. But after his leadership, after his performance, I think that he definitely deserves it.
Tyler, who are you giving your game ball to?
I'd have to give it to the offensive line. I agree with you. That might be the most surprising thing. The Texans' offensive line on the other side, I was expecting to get some sort of a push because the left tackle wasn't there. Dwayne Brown, he was out. Left guard kind of left in the middle of the game, so it was kind of a questionable unit. So I had no clue the offensive line for the Jaguars would not allow a single sack. So I give them my game ball.
All right, good ones, all of the above. I will take the easiest one, and I will give it to number 27, the rookie Leonard Fournette, who literally made it look like you are going to have to send multiple people to try to tackle him. You're not going to stop him behind the line of scrimmage. It just can't be done. And he is going to keep his feet moving to get every single inch that he possibly can. And not saying that running backs in the past haven't tried, but they do not have what he has.
He was running people over.
Wasn't it fantastic to watch? A lot of times the replays, you'd watch some of the guys look up, and they would be watching the replay, and you could tell like they were either cringing if they were a Texan or like hell yeah if they were a Jaguar. It was one of the biggest pieces, obviously, in the offseason. But even though I watched him all throughout college, and we watched him in that first preseason game against the Patriots tear it up, I still didn't think he could do that the whole game if they knew the Jaguars wanted to run the ball. And I also did not think that he could make Chris Ivory look as good as he did. I literally was blown away every single time Leonard Fournette touched the ball. And he opened up things like Tommy Bohannon, the fullback, being able to catch the fullback in the flats and that pass.
And then
O'Shaughnessy
or some guy. I'm like,
O'Shaughnessy,
that's a fake name.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Like, who's this
and
person?
The Patriots cut someone, I think.
You should always pick them up, or they're going to really stink.
Correct. I'm always like, well, the Patriots don't let good people go, good players go. But at the same time, if Bill Belichick wanted him, then obviously he has a good skill set. So I was with you, Blythe. I was like, who is that? I had to look up the Jaguars roster.
And I think, wasn't it like the stat line that they kept putting 8 in the box, and he had successful runs on like 57% of the time or something like that? It was something crazy where they knew what the Jaguars were going to do. They knew they were going to give the ball to Fournette, and they had no answer.
Yeah, and I would give, as far as the second game ball, I would actually give it to offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. I thought he did a tremendous job. And certainly, the Texans, at least, it seemed like never knew what the Jaguars were going to do. Whereas in the past regime, it seemed like other teams always knew what the Jaguars were going to do. You guys mentioned Allen Robinson. Time now for an injury update.
The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979.
Jaguars wide receiver Allen Robinson will need surgery to repair that torn left ACL that he suffered in a non-contact injury after a 17-yard reception on the game's first series this past Sunday in the win against the Texans, and he was placed on IR today. The Jaguars now have 5 healthy receivers on the roster: Marquise Lee, Allen Hurns, rookie Keelan Cole, Aurelius Ben, and first-year receiver Max McCaffrey, who was signed today from the Saints practice squad. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it is. Max McCaffrey is an older brother of Christian McCaffrey, the Panthers running back. He was trying to make a roster spot in Green Bay, but couldn't cut it. So Jaguars picked him up. We will see if he is active this Sunday against the Titans. We've got a whole lot more. We will get back to the Jaguars a little later in the show, but first we are going to talk about a little bit of a faux pas on Monday Night Football last night from the sideline reporter. That's next right here on Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL. Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. It's, of course, that time of the year again, football season. And again, this season, Dreamfinders is giving you a shot to win your dream home. That's right. If the Jaguars return a punt for a touchdown at Everbank Field, one lucky family will have the chance to win $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Visit a Dreamfinders Homes model home today to register for the Take It to the House promotion. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Thank you guys for tuning in, Facebook. If you're just watching us for the first time, we're here every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. unless it's a remote show. Then we can't really do live streams from remote shows like last week. Hope you guys all survived Hurricane Irma. Lots of people still without power, suffering from flooding conditions. If you guys wanted to learn more about how you can help, there's a new charity that was announced by Shad Khan's team today, Jacks as One. And they want, what is it called? The First Responders? Or no, they're letting 5,000 first responders in. It's called the First Coast Relief Fund. So First Coast Relief Fund is what's been started up by the Jaguars and the Khan family to help those affected locally by Hurricane Irma.
I don't know if Khan started it or not. I just know that's what he chose to donate to.
I wonder if they started it just because I've never heard of this charity beforehand. So I wonder if they started it because of Irma.
But he's in there watching Frank's TV, so thanks.
That's awesome.
I know.
They're also donating 5,000 tickets to the first responders for Sunday's game against the Titans. So if you guys want to go.
PK, I don't get cell service. I'm sorry. I would have texted you to watch him, too.
Oh, it's through the United Way.
Love you, girl.
Oh, through United Way?
That's what it looks like.
Well, that's good. That's better than the American Red Cross.
It looks like it was established to help people through Hurricane Matthew.
Good. So it has a little history.
It does.
So I'm always worried about new charities.
Multiple places established it. The United Way of Northeast Florida, United Way of St. Johns County, the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida, and the Jewish Federation of Jacksonville. Every dollar donated up to $250,000 was generously matched by the Jesse Ball DuPont Fund.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I wonder what they do around town, because they have the Jesse DuPont Center. I wonder. Shout out to you, Ben Taylor. I'm still without power as well. That's why you see this hot mess of a hair do. That's about 3 days worth of dry shampoo.
Did you go back in there? What are your parents doing where there's no TV?
How did you guys survive without TV this weekend?
Go outside and play.
In the hurricane?
Yeah, we were fine. You know, like Francis is like this. I can keep him occupied.
Yeah.
We had
Tried.
20 years
Thousand games.
so we could get the local channels when power was out yesterday. But we had cable through the Jaguars game on that night.
See, I had power up until about 2 a.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, that's
And then I woke up and it was out. And I was like, okay, it'll be fine. They'll restore it in a few hours.
Yeah.
Here I am Tuesday.
My parents got it back when I was there today at around 11. They're, of course, in Italy. So, with the tree going down at their house and the entire mess on their property,
Yikes.
we got to go clean it today.
Oh.
And it's still not even close to that.
See, we got lucky with damn it. Well, my neighbors, they lost their fence. So now I can see
That's
clearly
nice.
into their backyard,
Very nice.
and they can see clearly into my backyard. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Hello,
Great.
neighbors.
Can't be laying out anymore in the background or the backyard.
Mom or dad? I forget which. I think dad. Because his dad lost 8 oak trees.
What?
Instead of
Do you want to come
$6,000.
back with the Sergio dip clip?
Yeah,
Sure.
let me intro
Let's
it
see
first and then go to it.
I also have a timeout in San Diego. The refs screwed up yesterday.
San Diego.
I didn't get to watch it.
Timeout, San Diego.
Oh, ooh.
Ha! I wouldn't have even noticed that if I was watching live. I would have been like, and? Why
I
is
wish
that
I could have
weird?
watched those games.
Yeah, we didn't have cable for that.
I'm just happy we could watch ours.
Yeah, we did get cable last night at like probably 9 something, right as I was like, I'm going to bed. Because you don't sleep at all. At least
No.
I didn't sleep at all. I felt like.
Especially like even late on, because I got home after the game. I stayed at home. I didn't evacuate. And I woke up, the storm woke me up in the middle of the night. Because Mayport was getting close to 90-mile-an-hour gusts. It was wild.
So you made it back home in time long before the bridges closed.
Yes, probably about an hour before the bridges closed.
Okay. Because we left,
Yeah.
I left from here, went to my grandfather's, and then we left from there, went back to our house, came back. And as we were coming back over,
Girls
they had
just
the
wanna
police
talk football.
stationed at the foot of the Beach Boulevard Bridge.
Calls in 60 days or I'll sell it for free. Visit sellingwithcc.com.
Girls just wanna talk football. More helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
Now on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. My name is Blythe Brumleve, and I'm joined alongside Donna Murphy and Lauren Brooks. And I'd like to say that a lot of us who work in the media, you, especially for sideline reporting or things of that nature, that you work for a very long time to be able to say that you are a Monday Night Football sideline reporter. And along with Beth Mowens making history last night for play-by-play, there was another history note made for Sergio Dip, who has worked for ESPN Deportes for years and years before getting the opportunity to cover an English-only broadcast. And when the crew went to him, it didn't exactly go as planned.
Here on the field, from up close, just watching Coach Vance Joseph. From here, you watch him now on the screen. This diversity in his background is helping him a lot tonight. Quarterback at Colorado, defensive back in the NFL, and here he is, having the time of his life.
Oh, bless his heart. Oh, bless his heart. Now, English isn't Sergio's first language, but he got, I wouldn't say shamelessly roasted online after that, because it was more or less like all in good fun. And if you followed a lot of Sergio Dip's social media, coverage after the game, he made a little bit of a joke of it. He screenshotted how to deal with fame and sent a picture off about that. And then he did a Twitter apology that he really meant to sort of shine light on the people that he was talking about in his broadcast. So it sort of got me to wondering, have you ladies ever faced difficulty in the workplace or an embarrassing moment like that you learned from?
Well, at first I do want to say, as far as the sound clip goes, what upsets me a little bit is that Dip only got that one chance. Beth Mowins never went back to him, and I don't blame her. I'm sure that's a producer saying, okay, that was a little bit of kind of stunted speech, and so stammered speech, so, we're going to skip any more silent reports.
Having the time of his life.
Oh.
Right, and so certainly the actual words he said, there was nothing really wrong with that. I think it's the delivery. Delivery
for sure.
That people kind of jumped onto, and that's why I think, too, it wasn't vitriolic, or at least I hope it wasn't vitriolic.
No, I don't think it was either.
I think it was more joking because it wasn't necessarily a bad report. But it did make me sad to learn that they never gave him a second opportunity during the broadcast, because I do think that that's just first-time jitters, and if you've ever worked in the media, the very first time you do something, it is not going to come out calm and smooth.
No,
You're
not
going
at all.
to be extraordinarily nervous, and every single word you speak, you hear in your own mind, and you think, man, that sounded stupid. So I do think that it was just a lot of pressure on him, and I didn't think it sounded that dumb at all.
Not dumb per se, but I do put a lot of blame on the people who actually made this call. Like whether it was the producers, the show producers themselves, or the higher ups that said that yes, we should definitely use this guy for our sideline reporting. Okay, have you ever heard him? Because he's done ESPN Deportes for years, but have you ever heard him do an English broadcast or an English report? And I think that falls on a little bit of the higher ups for making that decision before doing their research first. If I'm Sergio, I'm not turning down that opportunity. I'm definitely seizing the day, and it's just a little unfortunate that he only got that one chance. But in his video after the show, he did say, he's like, I hope I get this chance again. So you sort of feel for the guy.
Oh, you absolutely feel for the guy. He's only 29 years old, and so yes, that coupled with all the pressure that's on the biggest stages he mentioned in that video, that does make me feel for him.
I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I understood, and I think it's how I talk a lot on this show, where you kind of pause and maybe stumble your way through. You can't think of a word or don't know how to put a sentence together. But I didn't see anything wrong with it. And the haters out there, apparently Rex Ryan didn't do a good job either, which, hello, nobody is surprised over here, and I'm pointing at myself. But the New York Post is roasting him. They're not even roasting Sergio
That's
Dip.
New York media, I think.
Right, well,
with the Jets tie and all that.
Apparently he was interfering with his own microphone, and they said Beth Mowins had to really carry her through and everything like this. I'm like, well
good on Beth Mowins.
Right? All the love goes to her, so rock on.
Yeah, first female doing play-by-play in 30 years. As an aside, speaking of Rex Ryan, did you watch any of the, I don't know if you had power Sunday morning, but did anybody watch any of the ESPN NFL Countdown now that Sam Ponder is hosting? She took over for Chris Berman. Did you get to see any of it?
No.
Tyler, what about you?
I did not know.
Okay, so it is the most incredibly awkward set. I was watching with my boyfriend
the physical
and my cousin.
set?
Yes, the physical set. They have Rex Ryan on a big screen TV. He's not there physically, but he's on a big screen TV. And then their table is vertical, so when they talk to Rex, all you see is their backs. So you see Sam Ponder's back, and then the other two guys, Hasselbeck and the other.
Why is he on it
back.
if he's doing a game?
Well, great. I guess
probably
the day
promoting.
before he can, you know.
Was this just one time? Was this just
no,
one segment?
he is a big part of the show. And then when they go and they do their quote unquote roundtable discussions, it's not a round table. So again, the camera is behind their back, or the camera zoomed in a lot of times on one person, and the person wasn't looking at that camera.
So that's bad producing.
It's terrible. It was terrible. Now, granted, it's their very first show. I thought Sam Ponder was phenomenal, but then again,
she can do no wrong.
She is just a perfect human being, right? Exactly. She is a conqueror in the sports world, and oh, by the way, has a toddler and a baby at home.
Two beautiful children.
But I will just say, I want y'all to, I highly recommend watching, because I want y'all to be as critical as I was and see if you see kind of the flaws. It was their first show, so I'm hoping it gets better. But let me tell the producers something. Sam Ponder is gorgeous. You never want her back, the back of her head. Like, the whole point of having her on the show, in addition to her insight and all that stuff, she's just a great reporter. That's how she got this gig. But she is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen on TV. You want to see her face. And also, yes, Rex Ryan does not do a good job on that show. And he's one of the biggest kind of names on the show. And so you're just kind of you're scratching your head. And I felt like I kind of had an idea because we've done TV shows here. But even the other two people who have had zero TV experience are like, this is bad. This is really bad. So
that's what happens when you fire all of your talented people at ESPN.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
he's a clown. I don't know why. I never knew why he was hired with Rex Ryan. He is just a clown. He is the one who, did you watch the Super Bowl Media Day this past season?
No.
When
it was the
Cooper
prime
Manning,
time one, right?
Yeah, when Cooper Manning was walking around in his money suit and acting like a fool.
No.
And it's Cooper Manning. Nobody knows who Cooper Manning is. He's
The
the other
older-
Manning.
the older brother
Yeah, there's
of
another
Peyton.
Manning. And there's a reason why you're just like, oh yeah, there's another Manning. And he's just a fool. But he was kind of funny if you could get his dry jokes. That's what Rex Ryan should do. To me, that is what he needs to do. Just appear and pop up one time, do something funny, and then go away.
Well, and I wished I'd been able to watch the broadcast and listen to Moens and Rex Ryan, but it was the game, the Raiders-Titans, that was on the same time as the Jaguars game, so we couldn't. But certainly we'll try to catch her in the future so we can review her. But as far as embarrassing moments or things you've learned...
Yeah, bring it back. What's your most embarrassing career moment that you might have learned from? Or something that you just learned from?
I'll say in my first job that I had, my first professional job, it was in financial aid, and you go to this class and you study for days and you take all these tests, and then they, accredit the school, and then you're in charge of issuing financial aid to students. It's federal money, so it's certainly a big deal. Well, I thought I had done, crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, done a fantastic job. And then the audit came in, and I was kind of walking around like, yeah, we knocked it out of the park. And they found that where I was supposed to, I had to do a refund, and where I was supposed to issue half of the money back to the government and the other part, the school got to keep half. Instead, I issued it all back to government, and the auditors came in my boss's office as I was like, yeah, wasn't that perfect? And they were like, no, you actually have a finding, which that's really bad. And if you get multiple through the years, you can lose your entire federal aid as a school. So that was by far my most embarrassing moment.
Yikes.
Yeah. But I never got another finding as the financial aid director. So
Yeah, that's not that bad. So never anything on camera, never anything on radio, embarrassing. Because
I embarrass myself every week.
I know, that's what I'm like, I
can't
don't
pinpoint
care.
just one.
Yeah, no, there was a while, too, doing updates. For some reason, we say Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. And for some reason, there was like a 2-week stretch where I could not say the word orthopedic. And I would get nervous every time the update music would start, because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to say it, and then I wouldn't be able to say it.
Got a little Blake Bortles in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And then all of a sudden, one day, just like that, I was like, okay, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, that wasn't that hard, and it's never been a problem since.
Well, I think the point of all of this, and especially with Sergio Dip, is that even if you do screw up on live TV in front of millions of people, or even in front of a few hundred people, is just to get back out there and do it again, because you're going to screw up again, so just do it again.
Y'all don't have any?
I don't, like you said, I do it all the time, so I don't care.
I fumbled last week when we had Dallas Cowboy people in front of us, and I was supposed to say something good about them, and I screwed up the team name for some reason.
Just ask Dempsey. I'm sure I've done plenty of stupid things when I was his producer. So.
Yeah, no, I will say, when you talk for hours upon hours, you have a chance of messing up a lot. There was one day, it was right after 4th of July, and we came in to do the show, and I said, well, in baseball, in Major League Baseball, why don't they go back and forth between stadiums, between parks, in the World Series? And all the guys looked at me and they're like, they do. And I was like, okay, there's another one. I know that. I watch the World Series every year. And yet, sometimes you just don't really think on the field. I was like, why don't they just follow the NBA? All right, I'm done giving embarrassing moments. If y'all ain't
Anything
giving
else?
I'm done.
I don't have too many of it. I think all of my embarrassing stories I've already told to everybody already.
I'm fine. I act like a fool all the time. I'm good. I know. It's not embarrassing here on this end.
Well, really quick, so this coffee shop in the Northeast, or the Northwest actually, is called Bikini Wearing Baristas.
That's the shop?
It's a coffee shop theme. in the Northwest that's sort of gaining steam, and a few of them have popped up. That's a good term to use, because these girls are wearing scantily clad bikinis, and it sort of got me wondering if this is pushing the limits, because I kind of think it is. But basically what goes through is that you pull up to the coffee shop, and there are women in scantily clad clothing, and they serve your coffee in a very tiny bikini. And they're starting to advertise more and more, and a lot of people are getting upset about it. And I wasn't sure if you guys would be the type to be upset about this, or if it's something that, hey, it's capitalism at its finest.
I think it's capitalism, but I will say, if you open, the bank account one day and all of a sudden you're looking through and you're like, oh, yeah, my husband goes to this coffee shop all the time, and, you don't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden it comes out on the news that there's an ordinance banned against the coffee shop from the people wearing bikinis, you'd be like, so that's why you've been getting 4 lattes a day.
We could save a lot of money if you stopped going.
Seriously. I mean, I think it's a little bit odd almost, because most people in the morning, when they want their Java, they are not really thinking about, boobs. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe guys are always thinking about boobs, and they don't care what time of day.
The name...
You want to shed any light?
Well, the names of these coffee shops are called Twin Perks. There's another one called Pika Brew.
Love it.
There's another one called Java Jigglers. It's called Java Jigglers. But it's called Coffee with a View, and to me, it's capitalism at its finest for me, as long as it's not. There was a strip club in Jacksonville on the corner of South Side. I think it's closed now. South Side and Beach Boulevard, but they used to send their strippers out in the middle of the road wearing, very stripper attire and holding signs trying to get people to come in for the lunch buffet. And I thought that was pushing it too far. So I think as long as you keep whatever you're promoting to your business vicinity inside the business, and you can do whatever you want. But I think once you start getting out into the crowd, out into the public, and advertising, I think that's where you got to be a little bit more careful.
Well, to me, if the women have a choice of what they get to wear, like, hey, we do have the bikinis if you want to try and earn extra tips, or you can also wear a t-shirt and shorts, then I think it's perfectly fine. But if you are forcing someone who was a barista and now you're forcing them to wear a bikini, then I do think you're kind of pushing the limits.
And I wonder how the business model is going to work, because I've heard that Hooters sales are sort of dwindling a little bit, and they're going to actually start changing the uniform to make it more welcoming to women. So it's going to be a less of a risque uniform, as they say.
So you know that they're suing Seattle to be able to have the freedom to wear the bikini to work?
Yes.
And do you know why they have to do this? They have to sue the city in order to get...
Because of the ordinances that are popping up, because people are saying that
it's lewd content.
Because in 2009, an undercover police sting busted a prostitution ring run out of a barista stand called Grab and Go. So this is why that they had to put in the ordinance. There was a prostitution ring. So do you want to go to that barista stand that wears
no extra cream in that coffee?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, as a parent, you don't want your husband taking your teenage daughter through that and thinking like, okay, this is how you get, better in life, is you just take off your clothes and you smile real pretty, and then, good things will happen.
I will tell you this. I remember sitting at the dinner table. I remember this like it was yesterday. And my one brother was at the house, Jeff, and we were having dinner, and I must have been, 10, 11. And I made the announcement. I said, I know what I want to do when I get older. And they go, what? I said, I want to work at Hooters. And of course, my parents and my brother's like, the hell you are? Why? This is little girl saying, I said, because I want to make a lot of money. But that's what I'm a 10 and 11. I think you work there. Whatever you got to dress, you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
When I have frequented adult establishments, I am shocked at how much money they make.
They make a lot of money.
A lot of money. What I make in a month, they make in a 2-minute song.
But I had the wherewithal to think, I could do this. And apparently the confidence to think I could pull that off, too.
That's good confidence, though.
Boom. I know I'll make a lot of money.
So did you ever, when you got a little older, did you ever think about doing it?
No, because my parents said no. I always listen to my parents, man.
Did your parents know about that wet T-shirt contest that you entered?
No,
Too late.
My dad did the very next day.
That's an awkward conversation.
It
All
wasn't.
right.
I was proud.
We are going to talk a little Hurricane Irma and some big, shocking, stunning events that happened in the NFL. That's all coming up next. You're listening to Helmets and Heels built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
I haven't heard from him. Let me see where he is.
Oh, I guess I put the times in here twice.
If we have time for ratings, I'll put that at the
That's
bottom.
fine. I liked your decision.
I was looking into it more, and with the ratings declines, they only included the Patriots-Chiefs game. It wasn't from the games over the weekend because the Nielsen ratings are all located in Florida. So they evacuated.
Okay.
So that's when I did a little digging, I'm like,
Dalvin Cook recorded 2 of the top 3 fastest maximum speeds by running back in week 1, reaching speeds up to 20.45 miles per hour. That's
What
so
on earth?
awesome.
This is good. Welcome in, guys, to Facebook. They're on the northwest coast. They're not in Jacksonville. I'm sorry, Blake. But welcome in, Facebook, to Helmets and Heels. We're here every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. If you want to listen to us locally on the radio, you can go to 1010xl.com. You can download their app or 92.5 FM. Next, we're going to talk a little bit more about Hurricane Irma, the relief efforts, and what the Jaguars are doing in order to help out with those relief efforts. Hope you guys have power, or at least some good cell service so you can watch us until 9 p.m. We'll give you the full update on that. And then I think we're going to get into, what else are we going to get into? We're going to preview Jaguars, Titans. We're going to go over some football picks for the weekend. Big game with
Lord.
Clemson at Louisville.
Sweetheart.
Go Cards. What else are we going to talk about? Yeah, that's about it. Live until another hour, so we'll be here until 9
I'm
p.m.
going to gain momentum.
Yes, I know you will.
I will. It's early. I did not understand your question. I do want to get into it, but I did not understand your question to Blythe. Will the Jaguars' victory change how she dresses for game day?
Oh, yeah, because I haven't bought, I thought that's what you were referring to. I haven't bought any outfits
Yeah, like
yet.
does,
Okay, yeah.
does a win, do you dress upon like how the team is? Are you dressed in all black? Because you're like, this sucks, you know?
Well, Saturday I'm dressed in all black for Louisville. They're doing a blackout because Clemson's coming to town.
So
but I'm
what-
not wearing
yeah,
black on
so
Sunday.
that was my question.
in the
Like, I
heat.
wonder if this ups it. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna look really good now.
I did. I went to go order a couple things from Amazon, but all the shipments are going to be delayed until next week, so I didn't do it. So I have to find something
Yeah,
locally.
thanks for that 5-gallon gas can that I bought before and had it shipped, and it never arrived. So that did not help at all.
I tried to time my shipments with the hurricane, too. I had a Saturday delivery scheduled and it did not come.
Or I will be heading to Target and saying, please refund me my extra money that I paid for the shipping.
Yeah,
Tell me you can't get it here on time then.
I was really impressed. We had the generator filled with whatever 5-6 gallons is all it holds.
Yeah.
And it ran, we did not need to fill it back up. It ran yesterday morning from 8 a.m. till the power came back on at 3 p.m. at my grandfather's house. Never refilled it.
You left it on the whole time?
I need to get a
From
generator.
8 a.m. to 3 p.m. it was on the entire
Nice.
time. And we never, like, we went and got gas on
Yeah,
Friday or whatever, Saturday whenever we were evacuating, just to make sure we had extra.
right.
Never needed it.
They're just so damn loud.
They're loud, and Carson would not, like, the generator, here's the back porch, and the generator's right outside the door. And I was like, Carson, you want to go outside? And he looked at the generator, and he just, like, came back inside. And I was like, okay, I'll take that as a no.
And my dogs went to attack it.
Oh.
TJ's starting it like, "Arr!" I'm like, what kind of dogs do I have? Like,
Vicious ones.
I
you
pulled
know
up
what's
to
going to
my
happen? You're going to lose this fight with the generator.
Dogs. At the kickoff cook-off on Thursday at Intuition,
Yeah.
Billy, Steve's brother,
Yes.
of Fresh Prince, told me, do you know about Steve? I did not know this. He was diagnosed in May with bladder cancer. He's undergone chemo. He's lost 40 pounds, lost his hair, and in a couple weeks is undergoing life-altering surgery to remove his bladder.
What?
Back here in 30.
To try and prevent the cancer from, I guess, resurfacing.
That's
Isn't it?
I didn't know any of
I
that.
mean, he's like the greatest guy ever.
Yes.
He literally stayed at Fresh Prince last hurricane. Because
Yes.
dogs were there and he wanted to make sure people
Yeah.
could evacuate, so he stayed there. And he's like, well, we're good as long as the wind doesn't get above 90 miles per hour. And I was like, then what? He's like, then we stayed there regardless.
Damn.
It's like the sweetest guy is really came back in the cart.
All right, bringing it back.
Yeah.
And what are we doing this month? Hurricane Irma.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. We hope everyone is found safely tonight after the wicked weekend we had of Hurricane Irma. And we know some people, unfortunately, still without power. Don't know when that's going to happen for some. And some people just got power, like Blythe.
That's what the rumor is. Rumor on Twitter is Mayport has full power, so let's hope so.
So many people have been affected by it, and it's not at all funny. And by the way, I did see the tweet before I lost cell service and internet with the local company along the beach side that decided to put up, they have an electronic billboard in front of their business, and they put, can we name Hurricane Irma Hurricane Jaguars, because we know it'll never touch down. Get it? Touchdown?
Yep.
Yeah. So they should be
And
in
hurricanes
trouble.
don't touch down, FYI.
I know, right?
It's
So
not a tornado, although it came with tornadoes.
But-
Which is really unfair.
maybe that should be the new sign that maybe the Jags need to look at before they step out on the field. You got to get some kind of chip on your shoulder, right?
Absolutely.
You do. So in preparation for Irma, you know, we all saw this last year with Matthew, which stepped up the preparation this year. What did you do without power? Did you have games? Did you have go-to foods? I know she had snacks.
I ate all my snacks before the hurricane got here.
What was it? What did you do?
I had plans to read books. I had plans to get some work done that didn't involve a computer. I got none of it done. I paced throughout my house, wishing and hoping for the power to turn back on. And if I wasn't driving around trying to see what, scouting out the beaches and what they look like, then I was over at my parents' house or my brother's house. That's really all I could do. I couldn't focus on anything else but talking about the storm and wanting to learn more and updates and things like that.
Because when we were here Sunday morning, you were like, it's no big deal. Whatever.
Oh, no. When I was driving after, because it was after the Jaguars game on Sunday, and then we stayed and hung out for a little while afterwards, and then I went to drive home, and I said, I shouldn't have drove home. Because the wind was just kicking on the bridges.
Or was it the shots?
No, that's why I stayed there for a little while so I could sober up a little bit. And then when I was driving over the bridges, I was like, I should not.
Yeah.
It felt too dangerous. Like I was the only one out on the road. I was the only one headed
That's
eastbound
not a
on the
sign.
bridge. Everybody else is heading westbound coming from the beaches.
I thought they were closed at that point.
No, I got over the bridge about an hour before they closed.
Oh, okay. After the game. Okay.
They didn't close them until about 9 p.m. 8 or 9 p.m. is when they closed the bridges officially.
Oh, okay. Because I saw police officers Sunday morning at 11 a.m. at the foot of Beach Boulevard Bridge, and I just assumed, oh gosh, I was like, Brian, go! They're about to close this thing. We gotta get over to my grandfather. He can have it by himself, although he could care less if he was by himself. In fact, he probably wished he was by himself at times, having a house full of people and dogs. But we were only without power for, I would say, from midnight to about 8 a.m. without the generator being powered up because, of course, it's dark and it was really raining when we first got up, so we didn't power it up. But I will say, I had always kind of thought you're kind of weak if you need a generator. Like, you only,
You get hot, yo.
Right.
You need the fridge, is what you need.
And that's what I realized is, you're told to buy all this non-perishable food, sure. But nobody craves canned goods. Like,
No.
Yes, maybe ravioli sounds really good, but you only really
Those were
want,
out.
like,
Spaghettios, man.
They were
That's like,
cleared out on Wednesday when I went to Publix before the storm.
you don't need to
only
heat those
really
things
want those
up.
if they're hot, right? Like nobody really
no,
wants
you
it
can
cold.
eat
You
them
can,
cold.
but you crave it hot.
Right.
Especially, I think, in your mind, knowing you can't have hot food is when you really want it. Blythe, you said you were in line for McDonald's for 45 minutes.
45 minutes this morning, but let me tell you, when I ate the hot burger and the hot french fries and I had a cold Coke with lots of ice, It was well worth it. I waited. I ordered $23 worth of McDonald's food. I ate some of it in my car, and then I took some of it over to my brother's house and his roommate, and we enjoyed some hot food. And you could see the relief on their face too to have a hot burger. It was that was much needed, because a lot of my food in my fridge is gone because I don't have a generator.
Right.
I will get a generator next time, or I should probably get one soon before the next time happens. But all of the meat in my freezer I took over to my mom's house earlier today. All the rest of the food in my fridge itself is probably done for.
Yeah, and my parents texted me. They are traveling, and so they texted me, hey, let us know about the food in the fridge. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that, because I don't want to open. At that point, they hadn't had power. I don't want to open the fridge and then let out any of the, cool air. So they can deal with that, but certainly dealing with their yard today was enough of that fun stuff. I will say that the hurricane teaches you to appreciate electricity, your cell phone battery that you always are like, oh, it's running low, I'll just plug it in. And you learn you have to conserve energy. And I think also the sunshine today, the blue sky, it was like, we have certain days in August and September where we complain as Floridians, oh, it's way too hot in this, in this town today. I don't think we a lot of times realize, like, hey, I'd way rather have the 95 degrees even in September than a hurricane blowing.
Absolutely. They're kind of fun just for like the thrill of it, but after about 30 hours of watching I think
Weather Channel coverage is what's so fun about it.
But
seeing
for like
Cantori,
30 minutes, not for 7 days.
Yeah, when you're going on 2 days with no power, you're sort of sick of it.
Yeah.
But watching it was awesome. Like watching like the close to 90-mile-an-hour gusts down at Mayport, seeing it whip through the trees, seeing it howl, and watching it move from one corner of your yard to the other corner, and it was awesome.
I'm hooked on the Weather Channel. I love it. And I love that people understand that if you see Cantori arrive in your city, you are toast. You need to evacuate. There is no need to say this should probably be an evacuation. If Cantori is there, go. Leave, because your place is going to be demolished. You've seen what happened to Fort Myers, and he was there. Of course, wherever he goes, the worst happens.
Well, and when I watch, I end up yelling at those weather reporters, like, you're not in a safe area. Get out of there. There is flooding. You can't, hold on. So what I've decided is that they need to create, and they don't even need to create it. They just need to give those reporters the exact same rope and handle that you would use to go wakeboarding. So that way they are connected to the vehicle still, because they get out there and then half of them fall over. And then
that's what's so fun. That's why I watch.
But
it's a disaster.
Dangerous.
It's so much fun to watch.
Get safe.
It was fun to watch, I think, until you start seeing all the images come out of downtown. Because last year with Matthew, it was the beaches that got hit hard, and then this year it was downtown, and that's when it was a wake up call.
So surprising.
A little surprise. Well, based off the path, I thought that the central state or the central parts of Florida, more the inland, were going to get rocked hard, because it was the beaches that got sort of rocked hard for Matthew. And I thought, well, Matthew got rid of a lot of debris, but then we wouldn't have as much debris this time around. But when the waters start coming in, they create a lot of debris. Poor Memorial Park, they're going to have a little bit of a cleanup job. A lot of those houses along the riverfront got flooded out, so the best wishes to all those people who are still dealing with that. I couldn't imagine looking outdoors or looking at your house and seeing, the first floor flooded. Yeah,
Black Creek too. My uncle, that's where he was staying, and certainly a lot of people had to evacuate after the storm yesterday because the water was still rising. And that's certainly what terrifies you. Yesterday we were kind of agitated because they hadn't reopened the bridges yet, and we're thinking to ourselves, you tell us we need to evacuate, yet we can't get home, and that's the first thing, obviously, you want to do.
It's so stressful when you're not home. It's stressful
because you want to, A, assess the damage, but B, more importantly, you want to be with your community and make sure that nothing is getting stolen or things like that. And so as soon as they, announced that the bridges were open, then certainly we felt a lot better and we were able to get back. But there had been reports, I heard that, on Facebook, people were saying that the bridges weren't going to be open until today. And so that's when we really started to freak out. It's like, I don't want to evacuate if I can't get home. And, you're faced with kind of that question when you start seeing this stuff. We started being concerned about Hurricane Irma on Tuesday, I want to say, a week ago. And she finally, had real effects start coming in kind of late Sunday. And it seems so drawn out. That's the part that I think.
Just like, just get here already if you're going to get
but
here.
But I will say, I think had it not been for Matthew last year, a lot less people would have evacuated.
Yep. Well,
and I am glad that people, I think, heeded the warnings this time.
I did not heed the warnings. I heeded the warnings during Matthew, and that was so stressful because I couldn't get home. I was one of those people that was waiting on Wonderwood Bridge for them to let us back over, and they wouldn't let us back over until hours and hours later. And this is like going on like close to 3 days where you haven't been home. You see all these flood surge reports. You don't know what's happened to your house, and to me that was infinitely more stressful than a couple days without power.
Tyler, how'd you fare?
I never lost power or anything, so I bought all these snacks and extra beer, and I still drank all the beer and ate all the snacks, but it was fun.
Oh, I will say the worst part for me of the entire hurricane. I'm glad to hear that, Tyler. You fared better than most people. I will say the worst part. So Friday, we do the Frangie show from 3 to 7, right? And I
at
leave
Circle K, right?
No, we actually did it here in the studio because the Circle K, I drove by it Thursday night. It was boarded up because it was the one at the beach on 3rd Street. So I let the guys know we will not be doing it at Circle K this time. We'll have to reschedule. But so I leave from the studio after the show, and I head to the beach, and I'm planning on going to Trader Joe's because they, of course, have great low-priced wine. So I'm like, all right, I'll grab a couple bottles of $2.99 wine, and I'll take those over to my grandfather.
That is low price.
It is, yeah.
$3 bottles of wine.
It's not like the best. Like I am y'all know I really like high-level Chardonnays, high-priced Chardonnays a lot of times. It's not like that. It's not super buttery or oaky. Regardless, it's $2.99, and when you're stuck in a house for days on end,
$2.99
you don't really care. Yeah. Well, so get to Trader Joe's, walking around, and I hadn't been able to get water. I had bought kind of some single waters, but I hadn't been able to get cases of water. Well, this guy, I'm on the phone with Brent, I'm like, should I buy some? And the guy that works at Trader Joe's, the manager's like, we're giving away 2 free cases of water to everyone tonight. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Now let me go get my wine, and I'll get the water on the way out. And there are signs that I don't at first see, and then as soon as I see them, I want to start crying. It was that bad. Alcohol sales had ended at 6 p.m. Friday due to Jacksonville city ordinance. The storm isn't supposed to hit until Sunday night, and I can't buy wine on Friday evening. I'm like, people, I had to work till 7. Can you make a rule like I'm not just late? But luckily, the lovely manager who gave me the 2 free cases of water said, hey, by the way, St. Johns County is still able to sell. So I hightailed it about 2 miles, went to the gate station.
Nice.
And the girl there probably thought I was crazy because I bought 4 bottles of Chardonnay from Gate. And she's like, well, we're not Trader Joe's, so I don't have fancy packaging. I'm like, lady, I don't care. This is exactly what I needed to get me
in my medicine.
Correct.
Well, that's good. I'm glad everybody fared well. When you have kids, you have to make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
So we prepared very well.
Good.
Last year when Matthew came, I didn't have TJ around. He was out at sea.
That's right.
So I was one of the lucky few spouses
good.
this year, because even though a hurricane comes, the ships will send. They will go because they got to get out. There's a few that stay, but the most of them will go. But because he was here and their ship's being worked on, so he got to stay. So
Did you guys
thankful.
This new charity fund that's just got announced today?
Yes.
Do you guys know more information about this? Jacks as one hashtag is what they're using.
Well, that's kind of the team's almost like hashtag for this weekend. But it is the Florida First Coast Relief Fund. It was started after Matthew last year. Several different local organizations, including United Way, came together to create the fund, and then every dollar up to $250,000 was going to be matched by the Jesse DuPont Memorial Fund. And so this time around, Shad Khan decided to donate to that charity $1 million for hurricane relief efforts. And then also the Jaguars announced today 5,000 tickets will go to first responders for Sunday's Jaguars v Titan game. I do think that is fantastic.
Good job, Jaguars.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there's some interesting news coming out about the Jacksonville Jaguars. We love breaking news here on the show. 3 former Jaguars, have been nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2018. Number 71 in the program, Tony Baselli, number one in your hearts, Jimmy Smith, and for the first time, Fred Taylor.
Good.
Yeah, Freddie T.
The Fred Taylor one is obviously by far the most fascinating, and thanks, Taylor, for sending us that information, because Fred Taylor kind of had to go on his own in the past few months and kind of make a case for himself. So Jaguars wide receiver Jimmy Smith now joined alongside, of course, offensive lineman Tony Vaselli. He's been in the mix before. He came really close this past year, but now Fred Taylor for the first time.
Well, with LT getting in, and
yeah,
as much as Freddie T talked about that, and people have talked about, well, why isn't Freddie T being considered if LT got in? Because the numbers are extremely similar. I love that he has been named. That's great. Well, not named, but yes, consideration.
Absolutely. Yes. And that is the only Jaguars jersey that I do own. It's a Jimmy Smith. I mean, not Jimmy Smith, a Fred Taylor Jaguars jersey.
Former Patriot.
I do want to talk about the Patriots.
Easy.
So we'll get to a little NFL when we come back, because the Patriots lost, so naturally we want to talk about it.
That's fine by me.
And we have a Peterborough chocolate heel to give away as
Can't
well.
relate.
And our football picks.
And our football picks to make you listen to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Yeah, I like the one person's tweet where it's like, touchdown passes, Bortles 1, Brady none. I'm like,
Welcome in, Facebook. If you're just tuning in, this is Helmets and Heels. We're live here on Facebook every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. If you're here locally in Jacksonville, you can hear us on 1010 a.m. or 92.5 FM, or you can listen online via their website or app. Hope everybody made it safely through Hurricane Irma. If you're watching this right now, I assume you did. Hopefully you guys all have power. Hopefully I will have power when I head home after the show in the Mayport area, because this hair is a hot mess. And a hot shower, I think, is what a lot of people without power for a couple of days would really love and enjoy. So hopefully you guys all have power. Hopefully you're recovering from the flood. I do want to mention one thing about that charity. I'm going to post a link to the charity, the Florida's First Coast Relief Fund, and use the hashtag JaxIs1. And remember, we just talked about it. 5,000 tickets are being donated to first responders for Sunday's game against the Titans. It's going to be a big game. If we can win that game with a bunch of first responders there, Shad Khan's donating $1 million. That's going to be really, really good for the city, really good for the team. It's been a while since we've been able to be pumped about the Jaguars and about the city of Jacksonville together cohesively in a long time. So really good effort by the Jaguars and Shad Khan. I'm going to post a link to that charity now. And then that way you guys, if you guys want to donate a little bit of money, help out your neighbors, you at least know where the money's going to. Unlike other charitable organizations, Red Cross, things like that, you don't necessarily know where all the money's going to. This one, you know the money is going to your community, your backyard. So that's really important to know. I'm going to post that link right now.
Emergency, that's there, but that doesn't bother me. Internet, AT&T, Uverse isn't up yet at the house.
But the phone part is, like, you pay for that.
Right, well, I mean, I'm sure, don't you worry, my husband will be like, so, my wife hasn't been able to use her phone. Yeah. And when you go online to Sprint, they have a Twitter account, Sprint Social or something like that, and they have their own, like, Irma update. This is what we're doing.
Okay.
So, I sent out a tweet before I came here through the computer. What's the update about Jax? Specifically, Nocatee area? Please? Don't know.
But Sprint's more than, I mean, wouldn't that be statewide?
They said that they're working on it. I guess a lot of their stores are running on generators, and
gotcha.
Yeah, so they're not able to get.
A lot of the gas stations in my neighborhood were still closed when I left. I had to go to 3 different coffee shops to find a shop that had Wi-Fi and coffee, because I needed both of those things. Dunkin' Donuts off Southside was the closest one. And I went to places all over.
I was going to say, around here, there's probably more.
I went to another Dunkin' at Beach and St. John's. That one was closed. The Dunkin' at around St. John's in Atlantic, that one was closed. The one by my house was closed. The Starbucks off Southside was closed. And I got real lucky with the 4th place I went to. But I got my coffee.
Leonard Fournette spent part of his off day helping unload supplies.
That's awesome. There is.
Charity we just talked about on the show is called Florida First Coast and the Founder. Check out
you have
more info here.
Like the guys can have a bromance or a man crush. You know, we can have girl crushes. Can I have like a girl crush on a guy, like a man crush, but not like
Yeah.
You know?
A sexual
Absolutely.
crush.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
I adore already Leonard Fournette. There is not one thing he has done that has been like, oh, come on.
Yeah. I just
He's
hope he
saying
stays
all the
healthy.
right things. He's doing all the right things. It's just fantastic.
I just posted that link we were talking about. You can check it out. It should be the pinned comment, so if you're not seeing it, just hit a refresh, and it'll be a link right to the Jaguars effort. If you just want to visit it, it's jaguars.com/JacksAs1.
Is PK still listening?
I don't think so. You can only see when people join. You can't tell
PK.
if they're watching live. Look at this
Hey,
hair in this
watching?
video. Gross.
She might be studying.
I'll wash my hair for next week's show.
Are we somewhere next week? Are we-
The
No,
following
we're
week.
here.
Okay.
We just have
Super
guests
cool.
coming in studio next
That's
week.
right, that's
And then the next week we're at Dreamfinders. I sent Brenna an email asking if it's like ready for us, but I haven't heard back.
Okay. I might head out after this segment,
Sure.
if that's okay.
Whatever you want.
No.
Try to get him home. We're driving here. I go,
Oh, our
by the
football
way,
picks.
what have you eaten today? He's like, Oreos. I go, have you eaten all the Oreos?
That sounds like my diet over the past 5 days.
Me? Because I've only been with him all day. I had
It's
to
been
bring him to
weird.
work earlier, and I'm just like,
It's like since I got back from Vegas, I've been trying to get into a normal groove, and this hurricane just has thrown everything off. I slept wrong on my neck in Vegas, and then I went to the gym too early, and I think I tweaked
Yeah.
it because throughout the hurricane, I've had the worst like neck pains. I had to sleep like on my back on a special pillow, and I'm like, is this what it feels like to be super old? And I got the hurricane going on, and I'm like, I hate this. Just somebody give me a cortisone shot in my neck or something. If somebody asks a question, I have to turn like this.
And I had a neck problem and I had acupuncture, and it helped a lot.
I always like lay on the dog ball, like any other hard balls
Yeah.
that they play. I'll just rub
That's
on
a
that,
good
and it goes
idea.
away. It works, man. You got a kink in your shoulder or some. Oh,
My mama rubbed
Rub on
a
that,
good
that's
part of
good.
my neck out, and that helped a ton.
gotta watch how you say that. Dog balls.
Grossest Wada Talk Football. More helmets and heels built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
Now on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Donna Murphy, Blythe, Brumleve, Lauren Brooks, and Tyler Devitt pumping out the hits. We're here with you until 9 o'clock tonight, and then Hacker After Dark takes over. Luckily, Hacker able to get here after a little bit of flooding in his neighborhood. Ladies, we
Yeah.
have some football picks to make, but before that, I want to talk about the fact that the Jaguars have a better record than the New England Patriots.
They do.
Whoa.
It's going to be a Jags day, all right. All day today, and for the rest of this week. The
We
Jaguars
shouldn't
have
play
a better
this. I
record
feel like
than
the
the
song is a curse.
Stop it.
It's been killed.
Good job.
The Patriots lost a pretty big upset, I will say, as far as in the fashion that they lost to the Chiefs. Did you see it coming, Donna? Did
Yeah.
you see the letdown coming?
Yeah, of course. It's the Chiefs. The Patriots fans are not really fans of the Chiefs for many reasons. One, that's how they took Tom Brady out a few years back. Thank you. And that's what happened.
JT thought you needed a little...
Because we're talking about Patriots losing, he came in and gave me a hug.
Because you're
Sure.
talking about your team losing, your team
Sure,
never
yeah.
loses, so you come
It's
to
very
it.
sweet. But yeah, that's what it took for them to go on the run for the Super Bowl a couple years back, getting obliterated on Monday night and embarrassed by the Chiefs. So I am so happy this happened. For one, when it started, and you can believe me or not, but I turned to TJ and I said, I'm not going to be surprised when we lose this. Not at all. It hadn't even started. I said, look, there's just nothing good about the Chiefs for New England. Nothing at all. Plus, your favorites. You're the hot you're the hot team. Everybody's talking about you. You're going to go 19-0. You're going to win it all. Blah blah blah. Do this, and that never goes over well. Never goes over well in New England when everybody picks you to win.
Was that Mark Wahlberg on the pregame show?
Yes.
Kinda trying to
So
rile up
awkward.
the fans.
He didn't even dress up for the event. Like, put on a collared
He
shirt or
is awkward.
something.
Yeah.
But I was almost stoked when it happened and ended, Because I'm like, great, good. Now they need a fire. They got embarrassed. Everybody's saying, oh, Tom's old. Oh, they lost Edelman. They're not going to win anything. That's what they need. For some reason, and I don't know why, you have to play with a chip on your shoulder. And maybe some people do. And this team has to. How you still can have... bad football. It was bad all around. But I'm happy because now, good. It's done and over with. And now I won't be surprised, though, if they run the table. That's it.
You think they might run the table from here on out?
Mm-hmm.
See, I think the loss, while perhaps expected by Patriots fans, also exposes that the Patriots defense is not as good as it needs to be in order for
That's what
the
they
team to
need.
win.
They were missing Edelman, too, big time.
Yeah. Which I've been screaming for Walters. I don't know. No one wants to listen to me about Brian freaking Walters. Man. How does he not have a job?
I don't know.
He's keeping in shape, though. Didn't he post something on social media the other day about he's doing some kind of new fitness routine?
I don't know, but
and when A-Rob went down, that's when
I would fire his agent, hire me in a minute, because damn, he would have had a job and a good contract. I don't get it.
Absolutely. All right. I don't really want to review.
Is that your
last
stunner?
week's,
Is that your NFL stunner of the week?
That the Patriots went down? No, my NFL stunner is that the Jaguars dominated.
Well, everybody.
the
I
Texans.
mean, yes, that's a.
Yeah, as far as around the league, the other thing I didn't expect was the Bengals to get shut out against
Me
the Ravens.
too.
That
Nothing.
bottom line was really surprising.
I didn't expect for the Colts to lose as bad as they did, and I kind of think that secretly they're tanking. That they won't let Andrew Luck get back out there. They did, and that's why I think they're doing it again this year. And they sort of snuck up on they're sort of sneaking up on the league.
To get like a safety, Derwin James from Florida State or something.
They could either get that top pick and trade it away to a team that needs a quarterback because they have a quarterback.
No, they don't have a quarterback.
They have Andrew
Luck. What is he? Is
Andrew Luck is that team. That's why they got beat so bad. And that's why I think that maybe that new GM that's there, they're going to fire Chuck Pagano, and then they're going to go after Jim Harbaugh, is the rumors I heard today, because he has a history with Andrew Luck. He wants to get back into the NFL, and he's only stayed a few years at each program he's ever been. So Jim Harbaugh in our division would suck.
Harbaugh makes a lot of money at Michigan.
But he'd make a lot more. He'd make a lot more in the NFL too, and he got the most important position on the field already solved, and you already got a rapport with him and Andrew Luck.
You are laughable with me with that. You got Andrew Luck, so your problem is solved.
Yes.
He's not even playing because he's injured.
He shouldn't be playing, and he probably played a little bit too long last year because the coaching staff kept him out there for too long. He is the Colts. Like, you saw how badly they got whooped. That entire team is a disaster without him.
By the way, Harbaugh makes more, at least according to last year's stats, Harbaugh makes more than the top paid NFL coach. So they would have to come up in salary.
There's some $11 million. Crazy. How much does Harbaugh make?
Harbaugh makes $9.
But there's something about winning at the highest level. And Harbaugh made it to a Super Bowl, but he never won a Super Bowl. And his track record has sort of proven that, 3-4 years at one place, and then he moves on to the next place. I know he's cemented in very well with Michigan, but I just think that maybe that offer is a little too sweet for him.
We shall see. All right, I don't really want to recap last week's results as far as our football picks.
I'm curious.
But I will listen to it. I will take it. All right, Donna, what do we have?
You want to go overall total, or do you want to?
No, last week total and then overall total.
Okay, last week total. Let's start with Tyler. Tyler came off last week with 1 win, as he got the Dallas pick correct.
Attaboy, Tyler.
Giants at Cowboys. Blythe, she walks away with 2 wins. She picked Clemson. She was the only one to pick Clemson against Auburn. And she also got the Dallas pick correct against the Giants. So she has 2 wins. I will then go to me, Lauren. And I got 2 wins as well. I got the Raiders pick correct. I was the only one to pick Oakland, as well as Dallas. And then there's Lauren, and she didn't get any picks correct.
Oh, it's so disappointing. I did bad.
Lauren!
Yeah, I did bad
Hold on,
again.
Ready? So last week, when we first started this, Lauren had 0 right. And then this week, Lauren had 0 right.
It's,
Lauren.
Tom Brady diet. You gotta start reading
hey,
up.
you know what? That's fine. After football season, I'll probably need
I
it.
need that after this hurricane.
Yeah, between the hurricane and football season, I ate really well today. It was very clean today because I was like, I have, as much as I love pizza and ramen noodles, I'm ready to eat some salad and some healthy green stuff. All right, Donna, before we let you go, I want to do quickly our local treasures, your favorite beach in Jacksonville. I picked this one last week. We didn't have time to get to it, but as far as this week goes, it's really a good one after certainly Hurricane Irma and both hurricanes that we've had, Matthew and Irma. Donna, what is your favorite beach in Jacksonville?
Well, I love, when I first moved here, we loved going to Huguenot Park.
Mm-hmm.
We loved it. You can bring the dogs, you can bring the pets, you can bring everybody, plus it's right.
You can park there, too.
Yeah, it was very close. Absolutely loved it. But now that we live further south and we live down in Nocatee, I say Micklers, but I've heard Micklers. You and I have had this conversation.
Micklers.
I say Micklers. I've heard Micklers on live TV as well, so I don't know who wants to call it whatever. But I love it. The only thing I would like better about Micklers. I was supposed to say Micklers is I wish that the ramp going to the beach was actually a ramp and not just sand walking to the beach. It's the only thing, because that gets hard when you're pulling that wagon filled with everything. It gets difficult in the sand, but I love it there. It's quiet, it's serene, and I grew up at Daytona Beach, so I know the beaches, and I know being able to drive on it and how wonderful that is.
Oh, I hate it.
But when you have such a nice, and it's just filled with seashells, and I love it.
Micklers is a part of Guana, right? Guana State Park? Or near
it's
it?
Near it. It's north.
Cross,
right?
Yeah. Well, Guana's a little farther south. Micklers is a little farther north. But Micklers is obviously the beach side, and Guana's the coastal side. All right, Blythe, what's your favorite?
My favorite is by far Hannah Park. I grew up going to this park. It's adjacent to Talbot, or not Talbot, but Huguenot Park. And it, to me, I know, like you said, Donna, I know the popularity of Jack's Beach and the things that place has to offer. But I've always loved having a little bit of serenity when I go to the beach, not having a lot of people around, not having a lot of kids that are going to kick sand on you or like dogs running crazy. I just want to be able to relax and go into the water when I want to and be able to look at shells when I want to. And so Hannah Park has always been that for me.
Do you have the annual pass?
I don't, which is weird because I live right there, and so I should have it, but I just pay the $5 in order to get in each time. And even the drive-in is gorgeous, and I have my own little secret spot that I go to. You gotta park and walk up a trail and get to it. It's a beautiful view. It did break my heart a little bit after Matthew, seeing all the dunes wash away, but I have heard that the dunes didn't get as much damage with Irma as they did with Matthew, so I'm hoping to check that out tomorrow and see how Hannah Park fared.
We went, I haven't been to Hannah, but we went straight out from where we live yesterday, and certainly they did a lot better this time around than a year ago. And obviously people were worried about that because they just started to rebuild them.
The little baby sea dunes.
Exactly. I will say my favorite is naturally where I grew up. My parents live really close to 18th in Atlantic Beach. We live right off that road, and so as kids we would either walk down with them or we'd all bike, and then there's stairs to get up, but if you go a block farther north, if you have bicycles, then you can just walk down 19th. So depending on what you've got, either 18th or 19th. But Atlantic Beach is by far my favorite. It's, like you said, quiet. It is family friendly, and there are dogs allowed, so if you want to bring one, but I think people do a really good job of keeping the dogs on the beach. Where I live, Jack's Beach, dogs are not allowed at all between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Now, granted, people break that all the time, but it is kind of nice because, like you both mentioned, there's a lot more people there, a lot higher volume of people, especially tourists and stuff like that, because of the hotels. So, to me, Atlantic Beach is and always will be
infinitely better.
My all-time favorite. And really, Jacksonville beaches, I think, are underrated in general. Our entire stretch from Atlantic Beach really down to Volano, I think
even Fernandina and Amelia Island.
Sure,
you can drive on some parts of Amelia Island, and it's not as, I don't want to say trashy as Daytona because that's not the word I want to use, but I guess a spring breakish feel to it. That's what Daytona has a feel to me. So when you get to drive on the beach in Amelia, it's more. No, I'm just there. I was at Ormond Beach in May. That's not really Daytona though.
No,
it's not like that anymore.
It hasn't been like that since 2004, really.
Really?
Yeah, when they got blasted with hurricane after hurricane in 04. That's when we got married, and we happened to get married right in between a hurricane.
Oh, no.
The span, we were lucky.
I think that's good luck.
Yeah, well, we were lucky. Like, our hotel didn't get damaged. The hotel next to it did, so we were still on track. But ever since 2004...
It's not really a spring break spot anymore? I wouldn't imagine. It has been,
It's
a
sad.
little while since I've been on spring break.
No,
so.
they're trying to rebuild it back up and now.
All right.
Want to make our picks next?
We are going to make our picks right here, right now.
Oh, you want to do it now?
What's our record right now?
'Cause you're going to head out.
Okay.
So let's do it now.
Blythe, you and I are both tied with 4 wins each, with Tyler coming in third with 3 wins, and then there's Lauren.
Woohoo!
With none.
Bottom corner.
0.
I'm coming for y'all.
That would be 0.
0.
Was he asking that on purpose?
Yeah, of
Wah,
course.
wah, wah.
That's fine. Tyler's used to being in last year.
I know.
It absolutely is.
So
He's got to gloat while he can.
with us, we are doing this. We're not picking every game. We're not picking against the spread. We're just handpicking a couple games straight up. And then the loser at the end of the season, which will be the end of the season, the football NFL season of the Super Bowl. After that, the loser will have to go on a week-long Tom Brady diet. So that will be enjoyable. All right. So first one up, one college game. I have Tennessee at Florida, assuming it will be played.
It will be played.
Okay.
Okay. Today.
I don't know why they would think it would.
Clemson and Louisville is clearly the better matchup.
Well, I was going to pick that, but we picked Clemson last week, so I was trying to go with the
I hear you, but go Cards.
All right, so Blythe, Tennessee at Florida.
I think this rivalry is pretty one-sided, so I'm going to go with the side that usually wins, Florida.
Okay.
Which is probably one of the few times in my life I'll ever bet on Florida.
Lauren.
Well, you're not betting, so that's good. I'm going to go.
You get your players back.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Gators because they're at home, even though that offense has not looked good so far.
Tyler.
Both quarterbacks are not good, but I think Tennessee's is less bad. So
actually bad.
Give me the Tennessee Volunteers.
Tyler, I'm going to put you out on a limb there. You're all by yourself, so I'm going to...
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Gators. All right, we're going to go to the NFL. Eagles at Chiefs.
This
was
really
a hard
tough.
one.
This is a really tough one.
This was very hard. Blythe.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I just think that if you looked at both of these teams, they're pretty evenly matched, but coaching-wise, I give the edge to the Chiefs.
Lauren.
Chiefs. Not hard to me.
Not hard. Tyler.
Arrowhead might be one of the toughest places to play in all
It
of
is.
the NFL. So
It is.
Go ahead and give me the Chiefs at home.
My heart doesn't want to pick the Chiefs. Damn it! But
bet with your wallet, not your heart, or your
I've
Tom Brady wallet.
You know what? I think they got hyped up. They had all off season.
Oh, I like it.
So I'm going Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going against you.
Fly.
You guys can make up that pick on me then. I'm going against you. Packers at Falcons.
Oh, I'm gonna go Packers. I think that they have clearly the edge in this game.
Okay. Lauren.
I have the Packers in the Super Bowl. Give me Green Bay.
Tyler.
Neither team was impressive in Week 1. Atlanta's defense couldn't really. I mean, the Bears didn't score a whole lot of points, but they didn't look impressive against that Bears bad offense. So go ahead and give me Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
I am actually going to go with the Falcons because they're back at home. They're in a dome. So how can you screw things up when you play inside a place? So I'm going to.
Are you going against this in all of these games?
I love it.
No.
Not the first one. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I went
Tyler's
with the
on an
Gators.
island, the first one.
Yeah. All right, now, here's a big pick. It is Titans-Jags. Last week, I just wrote everybody down for Texans. So.
Yeah, my homerism is going to show because I'm going to pick the Jags. I think if they can win this game, if they can beat the Titans, and they can have a commanding lead in the division, and this is something that the team and the organization hasn't had in a while.
Lauren.
This is by far the toughest one to pick. My mind tells me to go with the Titans, but my heart says go with the Jags, and give me my heart with the Jaguars.
Okay.
We slaughtered them on Christmas, and
Tyler.
we'll do the same again this week.
Unfortunately, I think the offensive line plays a fluke, and the defensive line for Tennessee isn't, I wouldn't say as good as Houston, but they should perform much better than they did against Oakland last week. Someone take Marcus Mariota and the Titans.
You're by yourself, Tyler.
Old Benedict Arnold.
Us three
I
heels in
can't
here.
Wait
Going
on
with the Jags.
Sunday to tell you were wrong.
And I'm going to tell you this, that if the Jags end up losing on Sunday, I am never picking them again because I picked against them
That's
last
true.
week at work. So, superstitious.
I like it. All right, we're going to wrap the show next. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Get your Gators on 1010XL.
That was fun.
They lose this game, I'm going to be really pissed off.
That I'm never picking them. So I'm telling you.
The fun part is the Jaguars have a chance to have a 2-game lead in the AFC
Right.
South. Like, that is more like
Right.
if they are not ready to fly off the handles in that game, like I don't even care if Dante Fowler gets a personal foul.
I tweeted about this, but the bromance between Bouye and Ramsey,
That's adorable, isn't it?
I freaking love. Did I say Bouye wrong?
Boy,
Boye, not Bouye?
I say
That's
Bouye.
okay.
Bouye?
They kept saying
Boy.
you
Bouye.
just want to say booyah.
I thought I heard Bouye. Boye. That's what. Did I say that? Boye?
Did you hear Deion Sanders called Jalen and AJ in the locker room after the game?
I did see them
But
like
he
talking.
He did that for multiple
And I
people,
got
multiple
y'all with
players.
because Rob Bass back in the day, he said it takes two to make things go right. And I got 41 reasons that Ike Taylor said that you guys are the best tandem of quarterbacks in the league. Did you know that?
Yes, they knew that.
That's what we believe, man. We know that.
That's
We know
Jalen.
that.
I really wish if they would mic Jalen up for the games.
Did you see Jalen's hair after the game? It was incredible. He had like two balls.
He's been wearing those.
If you follow
Every
on Snap,
day.
he's a great follow on Snapchat.
Oh yeah,
He's
hilarious.
he was beating up some little kids in the off season, taking their Nerf guns and shooting them with it. One little girl was crying. He's like, no mercy.
They made it.
Welcome in Facebook. We only have one more segment to go before the end of the show, but if you check out, look at the top comment. That is a link to the charity that was just announced today, the Florida First Coast Relief Fund, that Shad Khan is donating $1 million to the relief of Hurricane Irma right here, right in our area, and he's also donating 5,000 tickets to first responders. So if you're one of those first responders, just click on that link, submit your application, or if you wanted to donate to the cause, there's also all the information is on that link, so be sure to check that out. Kind of cool for the Jaguars and the city to come together in order to make the relief efforts a little bit easier. And hopefully all you guys have power and survived Irma okay, and hopefully I have power when I get home.
Jacksonville yesterday with CNN.
Really?
Bye, guys. Today she's in
Are you
Blythe.
leaving?
Can I have a hug?
Crazy.
Goodbye. It was good to see you. Oh, did I crack your back? It's a big bear hug.
He is an honest.
Thanks for coming to hang out.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, he saw Joe today. You gonna be good to say hi to Mr. Joe. Yeah, Joe Cowher.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Joe. That's a cool beard. Thanks.
So I said, are you going to be good for Mama the rest of the night? He goes, I don't know. Like so.
That sounds about right. Like so.
How about be all good for Mama, JT? All good.
Say okay. Thanks, ladies.
See ya.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
See
Jeff.
ya.
Bye.
So.
So cute. All right, I'll ask you Donna's question about will it change your...
I gotta find an outfit.
Oh, Peterbrook Chocolate Heel. We're not doing Daly's Place, but we can still do a song if you don't mind. I was going to say, the upcoming this month I know is Zach Brown. That show just recently announced with that Claire Bowen chick.
Yeah, I didn't know any of the people they announced. I think they kind of disappointed with that, like
The Massage Envy
the
concert series.
before the home game. It was
Yeah.
kind of not impressive.
I would agree.
I'm excited about the Harry Potter one though.
But I guess it is kind of hard to get people to come to Jacksonville on a Saturday.
I think it's interesting that they're trying to make the NFL as a whole. I think is trying to be more fan friendly to other fan bases, and I think that's what this play is all about. It's smart. That Vegas team is really going to be.
I'll just play a Zach Brown band song.
Perfect. So you'll be ready whenever?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I got it ready.
Sweet.
Helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Shores and American Window Products.
on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Today we saw that Shad Khan is going to donate $1 million to Florida's First Coast Relief Fund to help with the efforts of restoring Jacksonville after Hurricane Irma. So it made me ask the question, Blythe, which Jaguar would you like to see leading the fundraising efforts, similar to how J.J. Watt did in Houston? If you had to come up with just one Jaguar, which one would it be?
Probably Telvin. Telvin Smith. He's been a very, very vocal leader on that defense when the defense needed it last year. He's been very vocal about his offseason regimen and how he's training hard, and this isn't a layup season. So I would probably say Telvin.
I like it. Well,
Pause
in the same vein of J.J. Watt, if it's a really important player and then they don't play as good in the game after the relief efforts, then I would pick a backup player. I didn't really give you that caveat, but I would go with someone who sees a lot of bench time and maybe, I don't know, quarterback Chad Henne, now that he couldn't win the starting job, but no, for real. I think I'd like to see one of the offensive linemen, like whether rookie Cam Robinson or center Brandon Linder. I think one of those guys would enjoy the spotlight, but would also be able to get right back to work as well, and certainly could be able to gain enough traction to be able to fundraise that much money.
Because even offensive linemen, they have some of the bigger personalities because you don't really hear from them too much. It's usually the wide receivers that you hear from the most, and then this Jaguar secondary is probably the most vocal players, rightfully so, on the team.
Well, who was it? I guess it was Leonard Fournette. Yeah, it was him. Throughout the game, I kept saying, wow, I love how much trash he's talking. And certainly the cornerbacks do their fair share too, but it was impressive and a little surprising to me that a rookie was going to go out there. Now, granted, he backed it up with the performance that he had, but I loved that every time he would run, he would get up and he would kind of get in somebody's face just a little bit, and you could tell that he was saying some things. I thought that was fantastic. He plays as someone who's so much more mature than a rookie, and I think that does come from playing with years of having such high expectations on you.
And then those poor Texans defense, but they made the comment about, or they referenced his comment in the offseason or during preseason of when he said that, the NFL wasn't as fast as he thought. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that the NFL wasn't as fast as what they thought.
SEC, right?
And, well, he sort of backed it up, didn't he?
He certainly looked like a guy who had played a full year. Now, granted, he's not the only rookie running back to make a splash in the NFL so far.
Sure.
Certainly we saw Thursday night with Kareem Hunt of the Chiefs just set up an entire NFL rushing record.
224 yards, I think, on the ground.
And then also we saw Dalvin Cook last night do
Well, I didn't see him.
Well, yeah, and I
No
say
power.
we saw him. I actually tracked through my fantasy because he was on one of my teams, so that's kind of how I tracked his performance. And I did see somebody tweet that he got up to like 20 miles per hour in running for the Vikings rookie Dalvin Cook out of Florida State.
You could tell AP was a little jealous that somebody across the field is doing a little bit better than he is because he was barking at Sean Payton.
Yeah, certainly he was, and that'll be an interesting relationship to watch. And I think if people had high expectations of the Saints, they might be kind of reevaluating those at this point.
What was he expecting going to the Saints? They've never really had a super they've always had a diversified offense. So what was he expecting?
Yeah, right. Clearly, when the quarterback throws for the most yards pretty much every season, they like to pass the ball. Absolutely. All right, with this Jaguars victory over the Texans, Donna asked a question that I found fascinating. She said, will this change what you wear, Blythe, to a Jaguars game day?
Yes, because, I say this because, the past decade that I've been a Jaguar season ticket holder, my off-season ritual, especially over the summer, is my girlfriends and I would get together and we would have Jaguars clothes-making parties. And because the NFL was very slow to the game of making female merchandise, so we would buy these big T-shirts and we would buy clothes that actually fit us and take the T-shirts and turn them into things that we would actually wear on game days. Now that the NFL is a little bit better and other distributors are better about making more female-friendly merchandise, you don't necessarily have to do that anymore. But I've spent usually from like May to July building up my Jaguars season wardrobe. This was the first season I didn't do that because it was arguably one of the worst off seasons that the Jaguars have ever had, just PR wise, and who's signing, who's not going to sign, who's suddenly going to retire, not bringing in a veteran quarterback for competition, all that stuff that we already know. I just wasn't excited for the season. But now after this first game, I've already tried to order a couple outfits off Amazon. That shipping is going to be a little bit delayed because of the storm. So I'm going to actually go out into the community when some of these stores start opening up later on in the week and pick up, support local and buy some local merchandise for the game.
So at this point, you don't have enough Jaguars merchandise after 10 seasons?
I do, but you can't wear the same thing. And I know I'm going to sound a little like a spoiled brat when I say that, but I don't like wearing the same things to games. This season I did do that, though, because I just frankly just stopped caring. And
so you won't wear the same outfit twice?
In one season, no. We only have 8 games, so that's what I feel like. or 9 home games, right? So if it's like a special occasion where it's a division rival, especially a game like this, home opener against the Titans, you kind of got to go all out, I think.
Well, more importantly, certainly than what you have to wear, what do you think the atmosphere will be like during the game, at the stadium, around, tailgating, all that fun stuff?
I think it's going to be something like we haven't seen in years, because if this team, this fan base has been craving this moment for a long time, and I think a lot of us already gave up. We were raising the white flag before the season even started, and the demolishing the Texans the way the Jaguars did has sort of renewed hope. Whether it's false hope, whether it's lasting throughout the season, I don't know yet, but I just want to ride this train for as long as I can, and it's exciting to be excited about football again, because it has become, as even personally for me, transitioning from a fan to someone who covers the team, it's been a little difficult to not get emotionally attached to this team, and I've tried to sort of pull myself away a little bit, because I don't want to show up to work the next day and be hurt. I don't want to have a bad attitude towards the work week, and this is it's fun again. Even if it's only for a week, it's fun again, and I hope that we can keep this going, especially after Sunday.
Yeah, and I think the fact that we get to open the season with a division rival coming to Jacksonville, that's what this Jaguars team should be chomping at the bit to go out there. Like we've mentioned, the Jaguars did amazingly well against the Titans when a playoff performance was on the line, December 24th on Christmas Eve. And since then, the Titans, of course, like every other team in the NFL, has tried to get better. They've added some pieces, and certainly their wide receiver, Corey Davis, they're expecting big things from. But if you're the Titans now, you look up and don't you go, who's going to cover Corey, and can Mariota get him the ball with as good as those two cornerbacks are for the Jaguars?
And a lot of people are crediting that Jaguars' big win over the Titans last year as well when Mariota was hurt. But Mariota didn't get hurt until the third quarter, I believe, and the Jaguars were winning that game commandingly with him in there. And so I don't know for a fact, but I feel very strongly that the Jaguars would have won that if Mariota played the entire game. And this is going to be one of those games that, yes, the Titans added a few more pieces to their offense, but this is also it's a division rival, and there are no sort of barriers in place. Like the guys play up for these kind of games, and they're going to remember that slaughtering that the Jaguars were on the other end of it for Thursday Night Football last year, and then they remembered it on Christmas Eve, and they returned the favor. So it's sort of like that back and forth, and it gets back to that old school rivalry between the Titans and the Jaguars, and that's what you sort of live for as a fan.
Absolutely, and you look around the league and you say, okay, I have zero faith in the Colts right now, at least without Andrew Luck. We'll see when he comes back, and there's not really an exact timetable of when he'll be able to return.
No, we don't know anything about him.
And then you look at the Texans and you say, at least for a week, the Jaguars are able to really plant the Florida flag on the field, so to speak, and then the Texans, the next time the Jaguars play them, come to Jacksonville. So if they're not going to magically be better by that point, certainly it's possible that quarterback Deshaun Watson, because he's a rookie, will be much more comfortable in the offense, but still all the rest of the pieces are going to be there, and so you assume that the Jaguars are going to be victorious against the Texans. So now you are looking up and saying that the Jaguars are going to face the Titans for obviously the lead in the AFC South by potentially 2 games, and be able to walk away and say, not just is there hope for this season, but I really think this season is going to be something special. And that none of us saw coming, certainly whatsoever. All right, time now to try and win the Peterbrook Chocolate Heel. Tyler, take it away. This song means so many things to me. I will not tell you who the artist is or the name of the song.
If you can't get this song.
I can tell you that this song is featured on Game Day, College Game Day.
It is.
And that this particular artist is coming to Daly's Place at some point. I can give you that as well. But I have a feeling people will be able to easily win it. The rules. Text into to the 1010XL text line driven by Duval Ford, 641-1010. Give us either the name of the artist or the name of the song. You know the rules by now. That is how you win the Peterbrook Chocolate Heel. All right, Blythe, we have our kickoff show Sunday morning from 8 to 10 here on 1010XL. We are going to be at Tailgaters, and it feels like it's the first time we've been able to do that show coming from a victory to Everbank Field.
I think it is the first time that we've ever done. Yeah, it is. Because last season we had the big victory with the Titans, but that was our last home game of the year. So yeah, this is going to be really, really exciting, and I think one of the biggest starts to a Jaguars season that we've seen in a long time.
I cannot wait. Well, congratulations on getting the victory picked right. Let's hope you do it again this week, regardless of who Tyler picked in there. But thanks certainly to Tyler Devitt for making it all happen tonight. For Donna Murphy, Blythe, Brumleve, I'm Lauren Brooks. Stay tuned for Hacker After Dark. Hacker and Andrew Gibson will bring you all the latest. That's coming up next, right on 1010XL until midnight.
Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back here next Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going home to see if I have power and hopefully take a shower. So see you guys.
Power shower.